roast beef, roast chicken, roast pork. These are three meats that scream must-make mashed potatoes. Today, I'm going to show you how to take two family-style side dishes, bread stuffing and mashed potatoes, and turn them into one by layering them into individual ramekins and baking them in the oven. And I'm making my apple braised pork tenderloins to go with it. Let's get started. Everybody loves mashed potatoes, and every cook has their favorite way to prepare them. I am not going to tell you how to make your mashed potatoes. All I'm going to ask you to do is, after you prepare them, to whisk in 2 room temperature eggs. Why? Because this is what's going to make the potatoes get really light and bake up when they go into the oven. And you're going to need about 10 cups. And I recommend starting with 3 pounds of peeled potatoes and then just follow your recipe. I call these mashed potato and bread stuffing cups. I've taken 6 2-cup ramekins. I like to use glass ramekins so that I can keep an eye on them as they bake. And I've cubed about 8 slices of bread. 7, 8 slices, it really doesn't matter. You want them to be just about full to the top. And I've sauteed some celery and onions, 2 cups of onions, 1 cup of celery in a stick of butter. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place some of the celery and onions, and I'm using a slotted spoon to do this. Put this over the tops of everything. These take about 5 minutes to assemble when you have everything prepped. Great thing is you can make these the night before if you want to. It's starting to look like everybody's got just about the same amount on there. Oh, a little bit more on this one. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, make sure all of those are tapped down a little bit, and all the last butter, just give it a nice little drizzle into each of the cups. Okay. Now, just press down on these. And if you think those two didn't get enough butter, that's not true. There's loads of butter in these celery and onions. Press down till they're about 3/4 of the way filled to the top. Last one. And now we're just going to top each one of these with our mashed potatoes. And this takes just a couple of minutes to do. Your kids can have fun with this. Now, once I have about as many mashed potatoes on these as I think I want to have, I just take a tablespoon and I kind of work it around the outside edges of the dish to kind of seal up around the sides. And these little peaks are what's going to bake up nice and brown when they come out of the oven and make them look really pretty. And then once I do that, meaning kind of seal it around the edges, I give everybody one last dollop. Just going to add the last of this to this one. As you can see, all 10 cups fit really nicely into this. And now, just going to make a nice little peak on the top of each one of these. And I'm just going to let these sit here for about an hour while I move over to the stove and I make my pork tenderloins. Apple braised pork tenderloins is probably my family's favorite way to eat pork. And I put 2 tenderloins in a 3.5 quart, a shallow pan with a half a cup of water. And I tell everybody this is as easy as ABC because my spices are literally allspice, bay leaves, and cloves. And I'm just going to sprinkle them around either side of my pork roasts. I'm going to add a cup of apple juice. Looks like a lot of liquid, but it's not going to be. I have 2 coarsely chopped onions. And I'm going to kind of, I try to keep them to either side of the roasts. And I have 2 coarsely chopped green apples, unpeeled, and I like to use the green Granny Smiths because they're really nice and tart. Off to the sides a little. I like to leave the center of the roast kind of open. And now I'm just going to season it liberally over the top with garlic powder. You can skip garlic powder if you don't like it, but it really adds a lot of nice spice to this. Sea salt, coarsely ground. If you don't have coarsely ground sea salt, kosher salt would be great. And black pepper or peppercorn blend. And I'm using a blend. And I like lots of it. All that's left to do now is partially cover this, turn it up to high, bring it to a boil, then I'm going to adjust it to simmer for about an hour to an hour and a half until just about all of the liquid is evaporated from the bottom of the pan. It's been about an hour and 20 minutes. Oh, that's looking great. You can see how the apples and onions have all cooked down, and you can see that the liquid is almost gone. I'm going to shut these off for just a moment, and I'm going to flip them over. Oh yeah, they're starting to brown really, really nice on the bottom. Beautiful, just beautiful. Ooh, I can't wait to eat. Now I'm going to add about another half a cup of water to the bottom of the pan. That's actually a quarter of a cup, but that's as much as I'm going to add today. And I'm going to re-season the tops again with garlic powder, sea salt, and peppercorn blend. Probably not quite as much as I put on the first side, but still lots of pepper. I'm going to bring these back to a simmer again, partially cover the pot, and I'm going to let them simmer till the second sides are brown and almost all the liquid's evaporated, about another 30 to 40 minutes. And while they cook, I'm going to put the potatoes in the oven to bake. My pork tenderloins are cooked. I've wrapped them in some foil to keep them warm. I've put all of the beautiful apples and onions and all those juices into my food processor. I'm going to puree this for about 30 seconds or so. Now I'm just going to put my puree in a saucepan on the stovetop for about 5 minutes to heat it. We're going to use this like gravy. And my potatoes will be out of the oven, and then it's time to eat. Beautifully seasoned pork tenderloin, drizzled with apple and onion puree, mashed potatoes, perfectly portioned, not too little, not too much. This is a meat and potato lover's dinner. For these and all of my recipes, just go to my website,